ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अजलम्बितभुजो कनकावदतो सङ्कीर्तनाय कमलाय तक्षो विश्वम्भरो द्विजवरो युगधर्म भावो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरो करुणावतारो वन्दे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानन्दो सहोदितो गोदाय पुष्पवन्तो चित्रसन्धो वन्देऽहं श्रीरामकृष्णो अभय चरणसखो परमानन्दो सुन्दरो सुभद्रप्रियो हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी श्रीमानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। श्री श्री गौर राधा माधव की जय। श्री गुरु वैष्णव गुरु परंपरा की जय। श्री चैतन्य चैतामृत की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल। Welcome back. Oh, yes. Welcome. Nice to see you again. Good to have you here. So we continue our reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Hari Lila, reading about the early Bala Lila or the Kumar Lila, the childhood pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We've heard some wonderful things, and more often than not, the Leelas that have been described very briefly here by Krishnadas, briefly because he has, as we know earlier in the text, repeatedly deferred to the work of Vrindavan Das Thakur, his text, Chaitanya Bhagavat, which was the definitive text at the time, most widely received and respected text at the time, narrating the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which the devotees were relishing at some length. But he was asked to write some later pastimes, primarily, but he's doing so by way of giving the context. So the main work here of Krishnadas is the Madhya Lila, the middle section, where Mahaprabhu is primarily acting as a teacher and a relisher, which takes him into the Anta Lila, the final pastimes. But the Madhya Lila is then sandwiched in between the Anta Lila and the Adi Lila, both of which are shorter, probably the two of them together. In Krishnadas's text don't compare to the length of the Madhya Lila. So it's important. But again, the importance of this Nadia Leela, it means before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, is considerable because it is the Nadia Leela that we seek to enter into through the teachings and example given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Nadia Leela, in his sannyas ashram, and also as we progress in that teaching, in that practice, Yanti Leela also can be helpful. Earlier on, it's not as helpful, but as we progress, it speaks about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's absorption, inner absorption, retirement really from your public life. So, but all of this, again, to enter into the Nadi Leela where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has no Aishvarya. He's Nimai Pandit, Vishvambar Mishra, he's not Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sannyasi, who's by his name, powerful and opulent name, if you will, and his dress, the code of behavior that accompanies the ashram of sannyas, some distance is created, a few inches of seat and so forth, a little more than that. And then Mahaprabhu, of course, exhibiting so much knowledge, then teaching, and his ecstasy, very extraordinary, created some distance. But we don't want any distance between ourselves and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to learn this truth and then follow his example in Madhya Leela, that we may enter into the Navadvipa Leela and know him as Nimai Pandit, as Vishvambar Mishra, as leader of the Bhaktas, worshipping Krishna together, Radha and Krishna together with him. So, as I say, the Leelas here described by Krishnadas and the Leela are described briefly, not at as much length, referring as he does to Vrindavan Das, who described them at greater length. So as we discuss them, often as we have been reflecting back on Chaitanya Bhagavat and developing or playing out some of the details that Vrindavan Das has blessed us with in his descriptions. And also, some, if not the better part, of the Leelas that are mentioned here, they appear and actually do have a parallel with Krishna Leela. In his second Mangal verse, in the introduction, the auspicious invocation introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrita, the second Mangal verse, there's two Mangal verses, second Mangal verses, second Namaskar verse of the Mangal verses. It's the second Mangal verse and the second of two verses in which Krishnadas pays his obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, Advaita, Srivas, Gadadhar, and all that they represent, Panchatattva. And then specific Namaskar verse, which we often say, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahurito Ururai Pushpavanto Chitto Sandopamando. Obeisances to the deities presiding over his book, Gaur and Nitai, as glorifying them and speaking about the nature and measure of their benediction, and doing so very poetically. It's the most poetic of his Mangal verses, perhaps the most poetic of all the verses of his Sanskrit composition in this text in glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when he himself, in his auto commentary on his Mangal verses, begins to explain that second verse, he refers us to the fact that Gaur and Nityananda, they appeared previously in Braj as Krishna and Balaram and so forth. So there's a parallel, obviously, between the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the pastimes of Krishna. And so some of them that are narrated here it's more apparent that there's a parallel. And we heard, for example, the parallel of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eating dirt and being chastised by his mother. And of course, you know, from Bhagavatam, Krishna ate dirt and was chastised by his mother. At that time, of course, Krishna didn't say anything philosophically, but demonstrated philosophically the Sachinti Beta Beta, that I'm standing here in front of you, I'm in the world, and the world, look inside my mouth of the dirt, it's all there, is inside me at the same time. How can you be, are you either in the world or the world's inside of you? Which is it? And the answer of the Bhagavatam is, don't try to interpret it, it's both. Immanent and transcendent at the same time, interpenetrating oneness and difference. So, of course, we heard when he ate dirt in Gaur Leela, his mother chastised him. He gave her the opportunity, Sachi, who is Yashoda, to speak and see if she'd understood him in Krishna Leela. And of course she did. She said, you shouldn't eat dirt. He said, why not? Why not eat dirt? Everything's dirt. Everything, all things are one. She said, that's a foolish philosophy. All things are one. This is my rod. What can you do with that philosophy? But if all things are the same, then I can give you dirt and pour water on it, and you should be able to drink it, but you won't be able to. So all things, all things are Brahman. It doesn't mean there's only Brahman, it means there are many things, and they're all Brahman. By way of being his Shaktis, for example. So anyway, she explained the Chinti Beta Beta philosophy to him, which he taught her in the previous days. So these are very charming connections. And so we've heard some of them here. Now we come to another Leela tonight, and there's a connection with Krishna Leela, also parallel. So it's parallel, but of course this Leela is Krishna Leela, but it's an extension of Krishna Leela. It's making up for the shortcomings in Krishna Leela. And things are reversed out a little bit in this Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is primarily in the mood of a devotee rather than in the mood of the object of devotion. So even the parallel Leelas, we see that there's some difference, which helps us to appreciate the particular character of Krishna in his appearance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which will then dictate to us how to approach him, how to worship him. That will come up here in this discussion. So where he says, Kabu Shishu Sange Snan Korila Gangate Kanyagan Oilatahan Devata Pujite. Kabu Shishu Sange. Sometimes Shishu Sange, this is an important word here, 2 words. He says, sometimes in the company of other Shishus, Shishu Sange, Shishu means children. It refers to boys similar age or younger than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kabu Shishu Sange Snan Korila Gangate. They would go together and bathe in the Ganges, Krishna and his young comrades. Or, excuse me, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his young friends. This is before the school days and so forth. So they're all quite young. And Kanyagan Ailatahan Devata Pujite. It just so happened that the Kanyas, a group of young girls of a similar age, were also present there on the banks of the Ganges, and they were doing Deva Puja. Devata Pujite. They were worshipping the Devas. So the parallel, of course, is that in Krishna Leela there was another occasion when Krishna, along with Shishu Sangha, Shishu Sangha, It is mentioned in the Tantra, Gautamiya Tantra. What is that verse? Kintu Dhamma Sudamaya. Kintu Dhamma Sudamaya Harer Ati Priyamataha. Sudama, Sri Dhamma, it means Adaya, etc. Vasudam, Kinkini, Hare Atipriya Mata. It is the opinion of Gautama, who is a very sober sage, and it is the same one, Gautama, who was the leader of, there's a Gautama who was the founder of the Nyaya Shastra, and he wrote the Kama Sutra. It's a sober book, actually. People don't realize that. And then there's Gautamiya Tantra, and sage Gautama is referred to, whether they're all the same Gautama. I'm not sure. There's a Gautama Buddha also, of course, we know. He was a pretty sober fellow, too. But at any rate, the Gautamiya Tantra says, Gautama says, there are these boys, Dham, Sudam, Adaya, and played out further by the Lagutashani of Jiva Swami, who Yadaya, etc. means Kinkini, Vasudam. They were Hare Atipriya Mata. The Mata, the opinion of Gautama is these boys are especially dear to Krishna. The Dhamma, Sudama, Kinkini, and Vasudam. There is a cowherd boy named Dhamma, who was also a Priyasaka, very, very close to Krishna. But the learned what is his name? Author of Prema Bhakti Rasananda, Nayananda Thakur, has reached an insightful conclusion that the verse from the Tantra would be poetically out of meter if it said Kintu Sri Dhamma Sudamaya. The Sri would be an extra syllable, which would cause the meter to be out of balance. And therefore, for the sake of poetry, taking the poetic license, Sri was left out, and the name Dhamma is given. He says, based on this, and the fact that the cowherd Sri Dham is celebrated throughout the texts as most dear to Krishna among the Priyasakas, those who are in pure Sakyarasa, without any mixture of other sentiments. He comes to the conclusion that Sri Dham is among the other three or the four who are Atipriya. Ati means really a lot, in a big way, over the top. Atipriya, extremely dear to Krishna. This is the opinion of the sage, sober sage, Gautama. Jiva Goswami, writing about this, citing the Tantra himself also, explains that these boys represent the spiritual, if you will, subtle body. It's like you have a spiritual gross body that you can see. So there's a spiritual subtle body consisting of we call it the antakarna, the chitta, buddhi, chitta, I should say buddhi, ahankar, chitta, and manas. So he says these four boys represent Sri Dham, the buddhi, Sudam, the ahankar, Vasudam, like this heart, containing the mind of Krishna. So this tells us something about Krishna. His Antakarna is I'm cowherd. Basically, this is one of the identities of Krishna. As I said before, Krishna has three identities in the Braj. One identity is what?
Yashoda.
I'm the son of Nanda and Yashoda. Second identity, grow up a little bit more. I'm the cowherd boy. Third identity, I'm the lover of Radha. Or I want Radha to accept me, accept my love, something like that. It goes to that extreme. So this is the Vatsalya, the Sakya, the Madhurya Rasa centers of the Bhagavatam, the three identities of Krishna. So, and they pervade. It's not like he becomes the lover of Radha, he's no longer the son of Yashoda, or he's no longer a cowherd boy. So they're interdependent upon one another. So anyway, this is a nice way of emphasizing this particular identity of Krishna, his internal, subtle body, Antakarna, is constituted of Sakyabhav. And we're reminded of that here with the mention of Shishu Sangha. He came with the young boys, because in the Leela of the Bhagavad, where Krishna goes to the bank of the Jamuna, not the Ganges, but the Jamuna, with a few young friends, and happens to meet some young ladies who are worshipping devas. Deva, they're doing puja to the devas on the bank of the Jamuna. What a coincidence. We should find it here. There's the spirit behind Krishna's appearance there. So this is to give you an idea how there's a parallel. The idea here, Shishu Sangha, he wants to say, Krishna wants to say, there's a lot of innocence here. This is very innocent. The Vastraharana Leela, of course, we're referring to, where the gopis, where Krishna ends up, and very differently than what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does, as we'll see, stealing the clothes of the gopis. But what he teaches there is very much the same, what is being taught here, but the Leela is different, so it plays out somewhat differently. And we'll go into that as we go along. But the idea also here with regard to Krishna's friends, Jiva Goswami writes in his commentary on Bhakti-sandarbha that these four friends of Krishna, while they're Priya Sakhas, they're actually Priyanarma Sakhas. Priyanarma Sakhas are those Sakhas who are privy to all of Krishna's romantic life. He says that because he wants to say these boys know every single thing about Krishna's Leela. There's nothing that they don't know about. There's nothing that's beyond them. There's nowhere in the Leela where they're not present any more than Krishna could be somewhere without his heart, without his mind, without his intelligence, without his ahankara, his very identity. Ahankara means identity. It makes and it conceals and it reveals both ahankara. So it's an identity maker. You can't go anywhere without that. So they're everywhere. Now, because of the way in which they go everywhere, in terms of being the very makeup of this subtle body, they're not seen everywhere, although they're there. If they were to be seen there in certain instances, well, it wouldn't work out very well. There couldn't be the intimacy that was required if Krishna's there with his buddies. So, but they're there nonetheless. They're very dear to Krishna, and so they're here in the Krishna Leela, in the Vastraharana Leela, at the Jamuna. They're here, but they're not there at the same time. Is the idea. The different acharyas have written about it in different ways. But all with an effort to make the point that they were there, but let's put it this way. Krishna and these boys are pretty much the same age. But Krishna is old for his age. So at a certain age, young boys are not interested in young girls. They're ready to be brahmacharis, right?
Yeah.
You have experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Like the summer back.
And suddenly, life goes on tilt. And it happens. So Krishna's old for his age. He's mature for his age. He's the head of the group here. And the other boys, they're just not into that. It just hasn't, that kind of thing hasn't dawned on them. So they're preoccupied with Krishna and his jokes, and these are sisters in the village here, and we're getting the best of them. Something like that. That's the idea. So they're there, but by the arrangement of Yoga Maya, they're not there in a way that would inhibit the progression of the Leela, which is, in Krishna Leela, this is a Leela in which these gopis and Radha ultimately in the end, who comes on the last day of the month-long vrat vow that they performed to get Krishna as their husband, they and Radha all get confirmation from Krishna that consider us married, and a little later on we'll consummate it. That comes just about a year later, right? In the Rasa Leela. So, and of course, the verse we'll hear it. The verse which Krishna gives the confirmation, it comes here in Chaitanya Charitamrita in a different way. So, what's happening? Two things happening. Krishna's there with his friends. Mahaprabhu is here with his young friends. It's a very innocent affair, and Mahaprabhu is quite mischievous, as we'll hear. But the young ladies, they're worshiping the demigods. Ganga Snan Kori Puja Kori Tela Konyagan Madhya Prabhu Asiya Basila. When the girls, after bathing in the Ganges, then first bathing, then they began their worship of the demigods, the young Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would come there and sit down among them. Kanyare Kohe Ama Puja Amedi Babar Ganga Durga Dasi Mor Mahesh Kinkar. So he would then speak to the girls and he would say, Ame Puja, Amedi Babar, worship me. I can give you a good husband. Don't worship the Ganges, don't worship the Durga, even Lord Shiva. They're all my servants or maidservants. This is just a young guy in the village, they know him, he's saying, he's disrupting a very pious and religious practice. These girls, and it's important to note, unlike the gopis in the Braj Leela, they are not worshiping here to have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their husband. We'll follow through on that as we go forward. But what he's telling them here, importantly, as a lesson, which Gaur Leela is to such a large extent for all of us, is and so forth, as is said in more than one place in the Gita. Don't worship the demigods and goddesses. As for less intelligent people, as for people with material desire. And Krishna advises the Gita, you should worship me. So here's Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving a very basic instruction. The demigods, of course, are presiding over the moral realm. The worship then is to be pious, and to acquire piety, and the result of which is that you can become a denizen of heaven, reside amongst the gods in heaven. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is a number of things. One of the things which we've heard, of course, an important thing is that it's temporary. Whatever you may achieve by material piety, even something as tangible as a heavenly residence amongst the gods, whose duration of life is like off the, calculator. It's so long. We don't need to go into the details. The implication is it just might as well be forever, for God's sake. If I woke up tomorrow and I knew I had 10 zillion years to live, well, let's take it easy. You got time. Something like that. So it's so long. The piety gives you such a long life is a result of piety. Everybody wants to live long, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by being extremely pious, you can get a very, very long life. And what is the result of this good karma? That it causes you to be forgetful about the fact that it's only so long in comparison to eternity. No matter how many numbers you have, right? They're like all zeros. And when you put one in front of all of them, you have the eternity. It has so much meaning. It has no meaning in comparison. Therefore, as I said before, even going to the Brahma planet, let's speak of the Indra's planet, even going to the Brahma planet, life is like millions of times longer than Indra. You have to again come down. This plane, anywhere you can attain in it, whatever you can attain in it, you cannot keep it, which means you don't really attain anything except the labor. It's all you get. The labor spent. It is no different going to Brahmaloka than breaking rocks in Alcatraz. All you have to show is the labor. Swami, listen to the verdict of Bhagavatam, right in the onset of the Bhagavatam, right in the second chapter. Comparing Varnashram and the life of material piety, good and bad karma, avoiding one, pursuing the other, comparing it to bhakti, to the parodharma. And it's a very strong statement. Shramevi kevalam. Simply a waste of time. And so much effort is put in for this. The idea, of course, is that the moral realm itself is imperfect. There cannot be perfect goodness in the moral realm. Therefore, even if you become so moral and pious that you go to the heavenly planets, even if you get posted as a deva yourself, how many stories are there in the Bhagavatam of the moral corruption, as it would be, of the devas? The impossibility of being perfectly moral. There's always there's always the problem. You step down here, as I say, it comes up here. And so this is the moral good is only a shadow, a semblance of the real good, which turns the moral good really on its head. We have examples of Krishna, for example, of Bharatiya, to make this point in an overarching sense. That there is an absolute good that turns the relative good, the PC, whatever it is today, whatever will be tomorrow. It's good to be a polite person and so forth. I appreciate that, but these values change, and you cannot be perfectly satisfy everyone or even yourself. And so the absolute good. So you have like the parquet, it's turning the whole thing upside down. It's in one sense, it's saying that the moral good, the moral life, this is only a shadow of the real good. Therefore, it can be violated. And there'll be no loss. Not by being impious, but by transcending it. By transcending it, you will cross beyond it. You will be beyond it. Krishna is beyond the moral realm. We've already heard it earlier in our discussions. In a less kind of in a way that perhaps brings up less of a moral sensibility than the conjugal love of Paralakiya, the subject of the Vastrahana Lila, but his truthfulness, right? His lying to his mother doesn't get it. Doesn't raise as many eyebrows, I should say. Yeah, no, it's cute, he lied, but he owns everything. He stole, but he owns everything. So, it's okay. But Parikshit Maharaj heard all these things, right? He heard Krishna lied that I didn't need earth. Check it out. Let me see. She saw that he stole from the neighbors and so on and so forth. But when he heard the whole Rasa Leela, his eyebrows raised, and he said, "I don't know. Politics. How can he who is the very Setu Dharma, the bridge of Dharma, that you walk up, walk over the river of impiety and stay above it, whatever. The bridge of Dharma," he said, Dharma Setu. How can he who is the Dharma Setu be romanticizing with other people's wives? Like, my head is spinning, he said. My eyebrows are, stealing as a kid, that's one thing. Okay, it's cute, but that in the context of Vatsalya Rasa, it's beautiful. It's it's a higher thing. And to be truly a kid, you got to do that kind of stuff, right? You got to upset your mother, or you just aren't real. Do I have a kid or not? He's perfectly good. I think something happened. It's not possible. So Krishna's truly the son of Nanda Yashoda. But of course, Parikshit Sukadev responds. He's not short of an answer. He says, what is the verse? He said, among others, he says, "Idam to Vishnu." What is it? Vrajabadu Shikhanvitamnu Shanaya Tavarnaya Bhaktim Param Prilabdhikamam Vidrogam Ashvaprino Yachirena. The Vrajabadu, the wives of the men of the Braj, hearing about them with faith through narrations like Sukadeva is making. Nivrititarshe Rupagiyamana Lavosadapchatra Manobhirama Kotam Slokam Varnanam. Coming from Nivrititarshe with no material desire. Karunayaha Purana Guhyam, who spoke the Purana out of compassion, not out of want for anything for himself. This, hearing the pastime from such a person, this can purify the heart. He says, hearing about the wives of Vishnu, remember he's Vishnu, this Krishna. Vishnu is all pervading. Hearing about this Krishna, looks like he's just here, medium sized, who's actually all pervading and everywhere. And his romanticizing with the wives of the husbands of the Braj, here, that will purify you. That will take lust out of your heart altogether, because after all, he goes on to say, more or less, Krishna is the husband of the gopis' husbands. He's the pati, the Lord, the maintainer, not only the gopis, but the gopis' husbands as well. But in the context of the Leela, it's playing out in this way, and so forth. So, at any rate, the point is that there is a realm beyond the mortal realm. We should be glad to know that. As much as we would like to do the right thing and be good people, Hmm? We have to come to grips with the fact that this whole realm is only a semblance of goodness can be found. Hmm? Even if you become a deva, this is the point of the Bible, even if you become a deva or a denizen of heaven, still you're susceptible to. I mean, there are some Brahmas that go up. Vishnu says some Brahmas, they go down, some go to mukti, some remain in the realm of karma. We got a good one. Our Bhagavatam's Brahma became devotee. So still, the point is that even you can become a denizen or of heaven or a deva, and still you can't be perfectly good, if you will. And there is no perfect goodness in a realm where the goodness, the correctness, is incorrect to start with. Even the good here is bad, and the bad here is good. And there, in that realm, even the bad is good. The good is good, the bad, even the union is good, the separation is good. Krishna's speaking philosophical truths like he does in the Bhagavad Gita, that's good. And telling you to be truthful and so forth. And Krishna's stealing and lying on the battlefield of Kurukshetra also. It's also good. It's more good. The bad there is even more good. Because we're only the bad, so to speak, then we are entering into play. Rasa. And Aishvarya is moving to the background. They're becoming sweet. And an opening for us to enter there, where the Godhead has forgotten his godhood, and therefore he has a necessity. We can supply it. This is at the pinnacle, the height. Swami Bhagavan, the full face of divinity, is most accessible. I think he's the highest, he's least accessible. He's the most accessible. Because in that situation, he appears to have needs. He feels he has needs. We can assist him. So the lesson here is what? He's teaching. Don't worship the demigods. I said that in the Bhagavad Gita. Mahaprabhu is saying it again here now, telling them, don't worship the gods, worship me. Of course, he's just their kid on the block, as it would appear. A very nice one, a very charming fellow. And so he begins to command them in this way, and then when they ignore him, he steals the offerings that they were preparing and eats them himself, and so forth. Apani Chandana Pari Parin Pulamal. Naivedya Kadiya Khana Sandesh Chao Kao. So without the girl's permission, he told them, you should give your offerings to me and I'll benedict you. They're looking, get out of here. These kids. We're serious here. We're looking for husbands. These guys don't have any sense about that. They're too young. We're more mature than them. We're down to earth here, getting practical. Be a good husband. Think of the future. These boys, they don't think like that. So then what? So meanwhile, without their permission, he took the chandan and put it on himself. So the sandalwood paste. He ate the sandesh that they offered. He took their garlands that they were going to give to the devas and wore them himself. He ate the rice and the bananas. So, Krode kanyagan kohe. Shuna he ni mai nivani gram sambandhe hao tumi. Amasador bhai. So in anger, Krodhe, Kanyagan Kahi, the girls, they spoke in anger, they said, listen, Nimai, hey Nimai, Grami Sambandhe how? To me,
Amasabar Bhai. Here in this village, Gram, our relationship is you're just like our brother here. You know, what are you doing? You're telling us we should worship you, and you're taking the offerings to the God. You know, you're a Brahmin like us. Your parents are religious. What are you doing here? We're doing the right thing. We're doing the religious thing, and you're acting like this and stealing our offerings. And so they're a little perturbed with him. Ama sabaka pakhe iha korite na jujai nan na laha devata suja na kara anyai. Therefore, they say, it's not good for you to act like this. Don't take our paraphernalia for the worship of the gods and create a disturbance in this way. And he replies, Prabhupada, Toma sabake dila evhar, Toma sabar bharata hobe paramasundar. My dear sisters, I give you the benediction that your husbands will be very handsome. So he just ignores them and just continues to act as if he's God, which of course he is, but they just know him as a friend, extended sense of brother in the village, so they can't take him seriously. But he's dead serious here. He says that Pandit Bidhabda Juga Dhana Dhaniran Sutta Sutta Putra Hode Chirayu Matiman. Your husbands, they will be learned, they will be clever, young. They'll possess abundance of rice. Not only that, but each of you will have 7 sons from them. And all of them, those sons, will live long lives and be very intelligent. So what he's doing is he's starting to turn their heads. They're saying, you're just like one of us here. And you're acting like this, making disturbance, but he just keeps on like this, and they like what that's what they want. They're thinking they want husbands like this. So, Barashuni Kanya Gane Antare Santosh, Barive Partsana Kare, Karimit Yerosha. So hearing the benediction, they were a little bit like inwardly kind of happy. He knows what we're thinking when we're thinking we want a good husband and what our life should be. And then Kon Kanya Palaya Naivedya Lohiya Tari Dhaki Kohe Prabhu Sakroda Huya. When some of the girls fled, the Lord called them in anger and advised them as follows. Okay, fine. Yadi Naivedya Nadeha Hoya Kripani Buddha Bharta Hove Achari Churi Satini. If you are miserly and do not give me the offerings, every one of you will have an old husband with at least 4 coral wives. So Yeshunita Savar Mane Huila Bhai Kon Kichu Janikiba Devavishta. Hearing this supposed curse by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they started to think maybe he knows something. We'd be like, he's a Brahmin boy and he's going to curse us. And what is this? What's going on here? They're bewildered. And so they're thinking maybe he's empowered by the gods or something. And so, of course, what do? Aniya Naivedya Tar Samukhi Dharila. Koya Naivedya Tare Ishtavadila. Give them the offerings. So they start to believe him. And Krishnadas says, E mata chatpalya sab logera dikhai. Tukka karo mane nahe sobe sukha pai. With this cunning behavior, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Pandit, Vishwambhar Mishra, amongst the girls, when this became known to the people in general, no one was bothered by it. Did not cause any misunderstandings or disturb them. Rather, they enjoyed the happiness in these dealings. So he began it, this is part of the narration, he began it by speaking about its innocence, by mentioning that Krishna's with some friends and it's an innocent affair amongst underage kids. And he ends this part of the narrative by again stressing its innocence, that there was nothing like what was going on in the Jamuna, or so it seems, on its face, what that looked like when Krishna came. And the gopis, as I said, they were worshiping a goddess to get a good husband, and he stole their clothes. So that's not going on here. Krishna just wants to make Krishna and Gaur are the same, but this is a little bit of a different Leela at the same time. There are parallels, but there's some difference. And to go back then for a moment to the Krishna Leela, the difference, of course, the difference is there, and the oneness is there as well. The gopis, of course, these were young Kumaris. This Gopi Vastrahana Leela comes after the Venu Gita. The Venu Gita is songs by the gopis praising the flute of Krishna. This is all a very beautiful chapter of Purvarag. Purvarag is the kind of separation that the gopis feel before having actually met Krishna, before having their love feelings, before expressing them and having them, Krishna replying back and there being some confirmation. So because that's absent, it's a form of separation. They love him, but whether you love him, they're feeling like this. They're speaking amongst one another about very beautiful verses glorifying Krishna and his appearance and his flute and so on and so forth. But this is all, as the Acharyas have explained, is all done by gopis who were older than the Kumaris in this next chapter where the Gopi Vastrahana Leela is taking place. And they were already married. So Radha's in that group in the Venu Gita. They were already married, a marriage arrangement was made, but they're planning they love Krishna. Now this chapter is coming, and these gopis are different. They're Kumaris, Kanyas, they're younger. And they want to have Krishna as their husband. Note that the girls here, they didn't want to have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their husband. This is an important point, we'll get to that. But the gopis, and appropriately so, they wanted Krishna as their husband. One thing that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, he's saying it here indirectly, but more emphatically he says later on in the text that Parakiya Bhav is only tasted by Brajendrananda and Krishna, not by anyone else. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one with Brajendrananda and Krishna, but what else is he? One, and what else? Different at the same time. And what is the difference? He's in a different mood. Should be worshipped according to the mood that he's in. So we'll get to that. But the gopis, these young girls, they wanted Krishna as their husband. So what did they do? They went to the bank of the Jamuna, and they met other girls there of a similar disposition, coming with the permission of their parents to go and perform a vrat, do some worship of the gods to get a good husband. Good thing. Pious girls, very good girls. Oh, we've got such a good girl. And she wants to go and worship. You know, which god will you worship? Which god is, what's on your mind, honey? Very nice. My daughter's so pious. She's going to go to the Jamuna and she's going to worship the gods and get a good husband. She's just at such a young age. So they go with this in mind, permission of the parents, but they're not telling everything what's on their mind and what's in their heart. They're keeping it somewhat secret. The word gopi comes from the verbal Sanskrit root goop. Goop means hidden. Hidden. To keep it hidden. That's it. Their love is hidden. The whole of the bride is a hidden affair. It is permeated by parakiya, of course. Parakiya means, well, the opposite of swakiya. Swakiya means, one of the meanings of swakiya is proper. Proper. So parakiya, improper. He appears to belong to another. Can't have him. Of course, Krishna's not married or anything like that. But he's too young to be married. He hasn't even got his Brahmin thread yet. And of course, his astrological chart says he's going to go away at 11 years old, and when they'll return. It's not clear on the chart. So he's not a good candidate for marriage, unfortunately. Although all the mothers would love their daughters to marry Krishna, it's just not right. It's not proper. Purnamasi has shown on the chart that this isn't going to work. She's done that so that there can be parity here, of course. So, anyway, they're carrying this hidden in their heart. But the paraki, as Pujapati Sridhar has given a nice explanation in an extended sense, that even the Krishna's mother and father, there's this rumor that he actually belongs to the city people. He actually belongs to Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna's friends, they hear that he's actually a Yadu. He belongs there. He goes there. He spends his whole life there. He's only in the village for a few years. 11 and a half, he's leaving. And so the sense that the fear that he belongs somewhere, this is causing it's an intensity, the whole of the Braj. And particularly, of course, it pertains to the gopis' love. But Gopa, Gopi, come from the same root, hidden. The whole of the Braj is hidden. It's all layered. The language about it is layered with meaning. Therefore, Nasta Praishu Vadishu Tamba Utaseva Bhagavata Yutamasi. You have to study Bhagavatam very carefully to understand what is the Braj Leela, what's going on there. That kind of discussion has no end. That Leela has no end. It's like material life is like walking down a dead end road. Okay, dead end. Let's try another one. Dead end. Another one, dead end. And in Braj is only one road, and it never ends. It is a being of eternal becoming. In your ordinary schools of Vedanta, you're advised not to stop trying to become, just be. Be what you already are. Stop trying to become pleased. You are a unit of pleasure. You are Ananda. You are. Stop trying to protect yourself. You are standing on firm ground. You are Sat. Stop trying to know. You know. You are the substratum of knowledge. Self. So just be what you are. Don't try to become. In Bhakti, there's a becoming. Therefore, prema is said to be full and always increasing, with a load that never ends. Someone asked, well, if I get my Swarup, at a certain time my Swarup appears in Vrindavan, it just began, right? It's a new thing happening. It's supposed to be eternal, but it's happening. What do you think, that all of Krishna's pastimes, they're all done? There's no new ones? Are there no new pastimes? If there's a new one, that means it had a beginning, right? Wrong. Yes, it had a beginning and it's eternal at the same time. Right? He's always having new pastimes. The pastimes are always newer and newer. The nature of the Swarup Shakti is such that it's constantly manifesting in different ways for the pleasure of Bhagavan. So suddenly another Sarupa, what is his name? Sarupa appears. Kumar suddenly appears and goes to Vrindavan as Sarupa. It's not like, some new guys here. Oh, he's not like, no. He's a manifestation of the Swarup Shakti. He's not coming from Kamsa's realm. It's for the sake of Leela, they thought maybe Krishna fainted when he saw him. But the point is, when a boy appears there, suddenly when you go to Goloka and you become a handmaiden of Radha, think, oh, philosophically, if you like, the Swarup Shakti is manifesting in another way. The fire of the Swarup Shakti with the conduit of the Jiva, purified by hearing and chanting, then the flame that's already there in the fire comes and surrounds the conduit. It's a separate flame body. Right? The spiritual body. It's the wonder of the fire. It's the wonder of the Swarup Shakti. constantly manifesting in different ways for the pleasure of Krishna. It's its nature. It's not a static eternality, but a dynamic flow. Always newer and newer. Krishna's always looking newer and newer every time you look at him. This is Anurag. Every time you see him, he looks fresher and fresher. Again, to give a good example, material life is a dead end. Dead end after dead end. Every road you take is a dead end. And there's one road to bhakti. It has no end. Forever. It's beautiful all the way. From the sadhaka beginning to the premika, all. But this Vrindavan life is a hidden thing. Secret of secrets. This is the blessing of Chaitanya Dev. That he opened the doors, floodgates, through Nam Sankirtan, isn't it? The storehouse of love of God, it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the language of Krishna. It's a storehouse. It's Fort Knox. It's locked down. Locked down. Nobody can get in there. And what has the Panchatattva done? They plundered it, broke the locks. They're taking from the rich and giving to the poor, right? But it's very wonderful because the rich only become enriched by this. The wealth, the prema dhan of Golok, you're giving it to the world through the medium of Sankirtan. And someone says, just by Sankirtan you cannot get prema. Boy, they have to hear this kind of misunderstanding. Just by Sankirtan. Sankirtan will turn you into your inner life and give you the power to meditate and so on and so forth. Everything is subordinate to Nam Kirtan. Krishna himself subordinate to his own name. So, they're in this hidden realm. So many truths hidden there. They go to the bank of the Jamuna and they're meeting other girls. And so what do? They hold hands together and they begin to sing about that which they can see on one another's faces, their heart. Why their mothers couldn't see what was on their heart? Because they didn't have the same thing in their hearts. They couldn't recognize it. And they have Vatsalya Bhav anyway. Recognize what is Gopi Bhav appearing on the face of a Kumari, young girl, as it manifests in her heart, as the Leela plays out. But the other girls having the same experience, then they could see the other girl's face. There was immediately a bond between them. So they held hands and they chant Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They began Nam Kirtan. This is what they did. How did they realize their ideal? To have Krishna as their husband. They began with Nam Kirtan. And when they did Nam Kirtan, which is everywhere, of course it comes from sadhus, it's distributed like that, people pick it up, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And they chant. And if they chant nicely, then what happens? Well, they chant in association of others, and in association of others, like-minded persons, the Guru appears. So, on the scene appears Vrindadevi. Vrindadevi is a particular manifestation of Yogamaya like Purnamasi, Leela Shakti. She appears and she wants to make sure to assist them in pursuing their goal. So, what does she do? And, she gives them the mantra that corresponds with the deity. They make a deity out of sand, of Katyayani, like the wife of Shiva, goddess Durga, Katyayani, worshipping devas. Mahaprabhu said, don't do that. They're disobeying the instruction. No. It appears like this. They made a deity out of sand. That means also you can make a deity out of sand. You can make a deity in your mind. If you know the parameters, it's not coming from your mind. It's not imagination. If you know the Siddhanta and so forth, then your mind and your intelligence is steeped in that. Then from that kind of mind, the form of Krishna will start to appear in conjunction with your chanting. And a corresponding form for worshiping him appropriately. The Bhakti body will start to appear within. It's not just used to imagine something, but a spiritual practice. They knew they had a guru also. So the guru gave the mantra, Katyayani Mahamaye. And then they constructed a deity of Katyayani, they worshipped her. Now, why is Vrinda Devi telling them to worship the demigods? Here, a goddess. It only appears as such. The goddess Katyayani could be worshipped for getting a good husband. But what she would do is that she would then inspire the parents to make an arrangement. So because you worship the goddess, she inspires the parents to make an arrangement for the right boy, and things work out, and they're the instruments. The goddess doesn't appear personally on the scene and do it, but through the parents. But Goddess Katyayani cannot inspire the parents of the gopis for them to suggest that their daughters would marry Krishna. She can't do that. And also, when Mahamaya Katyayani, inspires the parents to find a husband for the young girl, what is she doing? She's kind of taking them away from Krishna, so to speak. And in a roundabout way, she's bringing them to Krishna through a proper life. And so for the Mahaprabhu recommended that for the girls here. But it's not the business of Mahamaya or the power of Mahamaya to give Krishna. So who are they worshiping then? They cannot be worshiping Mahamaya. They can't really worship Krishna, have Krishna as their husband, because they don't want God as their husband. They want Krishna as their husband. So if Krishna is God, it's complicated. So you need a guru to solve these kind of problems. So she's given the goddess Katyayani, but this is just like you have Durga and you have Durga. You have Divya Saraswati and Saraswati. You have two forms of Lakshmi. Lakshmi gives material benediction, and Lakshmi is always with Narayan, giving bhakti. You have the divine Saraswati, and you have the ordinary Saraswati, who's giving this internal potency of Krishna's Swarup Shakti and Maya Shakti. They're related. Therefore, Prabhupada often would give an example. Like electrical energy, it can heat or it can cool. It can obscure Maya Shakti, and Swarup Shakti can reveal. And all of this in relation to another Shakti, okay? The Jiva can obscure the truth about Krishna, or it can reveal the truth about Krishna. And in the context of revealing the truth about Krishna, obscure the truth about Krishna in another way. That is God who made it disappear, and you can have intimacy with him and so forth. So this is the work of the Swarup Shakti. So this Katyayani that they worship, this means the goddess of bhakti, not the Maya Shakti, the other side. They're worshipping the Swarup Shakti. And Vrinda Devi gives them everything they need. They get the mantra, she affirms the place, you should do it here at this place, the Desha, at the bank of the Jamuna, where, come around a year or so, at the bank of the Jamuna in Rasa Leela, then this will be consummated. Right place. Right time was the time. It's the first day of the waning moon of the month of Margashirsha, Hemanta, the winter season, which is this month. Krishna says in the Gita, of months, I am the Margashirsha. So the month of Krishna, it's a good time. The month that represents Krishna. And the first day of that, and the vow is for a whole month. So they got the time, they got the place, they got the mantra, the sankalpa. Nanda Gopa Sutam, Nanda Gopa Sutapatim. This is their sankalpa, it's inside the mantra. Sankalpa means you said the prayer, You chant a mantra and you have a purpose, a wish to fulfill. Just like you can go to some temples and they can say, oh, you can make a wish, write it down here, give it to the priest, and you chant a mantra, and then the sankalpa, and then fulfilled, something like that. So they had sankalpa. Nanda Sutapatim. Let the son of Nanda, the Gopa son of Nanda, we want that he becomes our pati, our husband. This is our sankalpa. This is our wish. And this is, they had to hide this, of course, from their parents. They couldn't tell them. Therefore, they couldn't tell them about their worship. The parents want to know, what kind of worship are you doing? No, I'm going to keep that. Oh, isn't that cute? They're going to keep it to themselves. Something to be said about this. Worship should be kept a little to oneself. It said one should hide one's japa, one's mantra, one's guru. There's a place for all this. That's said in the Bible. You don't throw pearls before the swine. Where people can appreciate, that's another thing. That doesn't apply there. Then you can share. But then not everybody will appreciate it. Act accordingly. So all these things were in place. They had the mantra, the sankalpa, and they worshipped. And worshipped the whole month. This was their positive artha pravriti. Their sankalpa. I want to attain Krishna as my husband. And their anartha nivriti, the other side, that's the negative side. They fasted. They only havisham once a day, unspiced rice and dal, boiled. They bathed in the hemant, winter season, up to the neck in the Jamuna, early in the morning, very cold. They did this for a month. But then the austerity in this, which is part of bhakti, if you will, it can be an austere life, was absolutely no burden to them. Because of their art of pravriti, their preoccupation with their ideal, their faith in Vrindadevi, and their mantra, their conviction in the goddess's kindness and so forth. And so, of course, they were blessed, and Krishna, along with his friends, innocent friends, appeared on the scene. Just happened to notice their clothes lying on the bank and threw them up in the tree. And there's very beautiful exchanges between them, arguing and so on and so forth. And ultimately, they come out of the water and Krishna gives them the benediction. So that we're there. He says, what then? Ekdin Valvacharya Kanya Lakshmi Nam. One day, amongst these days, the daughter, Balabacharya Kanya, the daughter of Balabacharya, whose name was Lakshmi Priya, Devata Pujite Aila Kori Gansnan. She came to the bank of the Ganges, and she was performing the puja and bathing therein, amongst all the girls. Tame Deki Prabhu Hoila Sabha Sabhilash Man. Lakshmi Chitte Prita Hoila Prabhu Darshan. Seeing Lakshmi, the Lord became attracted to her. Upon seeing the Lord, Lakshmi also felt great satisfaction within her mind. Their natural love for one another awakened, and although it was covered by childhood emotions, it became apparent that they were mutually attracted. They both enjoyed natural pleasure seeing one another, and under the pretext of demigod worship, they manifested their feelings. The Lord told Lakshmi, Ami Puja, Ami Maheshwar, Amari Pujile Prabhe, Apipishtamar. Just worship me. I'm Supreme Lord. If you worship me, you will get the benediction you desire. Hearing the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lakshmi immediately worshipped him, offering sandalwood, pulp, and flowers to his body, and garlanding him with olive, and offering prayers to the Lord. And being worshipped by the Lord, being worshipped by Lakshmi, the Lord began to smile. And he recited a verse from the Bhagavatam, and thus accepted the emotion she expressed. Sankalpo vidita sadjo bhavatinam marachanam mayanu modito so satyo bhavitumarati. This is the verse that Krishna spoke at the end of the Vastraharana Leela to the gopis. He gave them the benediction. So bhakti they worshipped, right? They got bhakti. Krishna had to come there, and he had to fulfill their desire. He said to them, "Dear gopis, I accept your desire to have me as your husband. That's what you really wanted, right? I knew it all along. And thus, actually, this is a little philosophical. Now, you're actually worshiping me. I wish that your desire be fulfilled because it deserves to be so." And he indicates there in the Bhagavatam. So now this is what they wanted was this unofficial type of marriage. They wanted the Gandharva marriage, an off the books kind of marriage, so that even if they got married officially elsewhere, this would have already happened. This is they actually Swakiya. They actually belong to him. Was their idea. So he tells them in Leela, of course, that they'll meet him. We'll consummate this, and they do it in the future. But here, the important point is what that Mahaprabhu did not. The other girls, they weren't worshiping Mahaprabhu in this way, but one girl was. One girl felt like this. This is Lakshmi. This is Mahaprabhu with some Aishwarya in Vrindavan, in Navadvip, with his consort, Lakshmi Devi. So there's a Vaidhi Bhakti side of Mahaprabhu with Lakshmi, Vishnu Priya. There's the Rag side of Mahaprabhu, Gaur and Gadadhar, representing the party of Braj. So both sides there. So this is very, what does Kapilraj say at the end? E mata lila dunhe gila kare. Gambira chaitanya lila ki bhujite pare. He says, after thus expressing their feelings to one another, Chaitanya and Lakshmi returned home. He says, Gambira Chaitanya lila ki bhujite pare. How deep is Gaur Lila? Gambira means deep. How deep, how hidden, how grave. Mahaprabhu lived in the Gambira, the room was called in Puri. What went on there? What is the depth of his experience? What that separated him, you see? That Gambira Lila separated him from his devotees. Even Ramananda started to lose contact. Even Swarup Damodar, where is he going? When Swarup Damodar, when he fell in the ocean and then they found him and Swarup started the kirtan. Mahaprabhu woke from the kirtan and Puja Patrita Maharaj commented, "What kind of noise you're making to wake me up, to bring me back from the depths of my experience?" That noise was the Swarup Damodar's chanting. How deep was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Gambira, deep, great. This is a very heavy thing. This is a very high thing. Antilila, very high, and it's so high, so deep, and that's what the Navadvip Leela is about. The Vrindavan Leela is about. That's what the Kirtan in the house of Srivas is about. It's not a cheap thing. The Kabir says this is very deep, and of course he's also saying it because this is not what anything it might appear like. Their meeting is very extraordinary. Both he instructed the girls one way. It means this: there is no Nadiya Nagari Bhav. There's a sect of Gaur Nagar Bhav, and there's a subsect, Nadiya Nagari Bhav. Once, and neither one is accepted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, given any place in Chaitanya Charitamrita, while other sentiments for Mahaprabhu are accepted and showcased, and neither in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where the language is even stronger on the part of Vrindavan Das. He says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never ever even joked with a girl. Now there was some joking here, but he's Nimai Pandit. He's just a young boy. When he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, never joked with a girl. Grihijana Shikshaka, Nyasi Gulanayaka, as Bhakti notes. sings, and we sing in the morning. Grihijana Shikshaka. As far as household life, which is for most people, he set a perfect example. Not how to be a pious householder, but how to be a devotee, how to be a Vaishnav, and a Vaishnavi. That because the context of the bhakti is so powerful, it doesn't require some such abstinence. You can have a family. It has the power. And you can turn your whole house into a temple. You got your brahmachari for a while, and then brahmacharis for a while. Then anyway, so you can have you can create a whole village, and Krishna deity, and this is how. So bhakti has yoga requires brahmacharya. Gyan marg requires brahmacharya. Bhakti has greater power. So there are many types of worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted by Vrindavan Das and by Krishna Das, but Vrindavan Das makes the point very strongly, as Krishna Das does, as I said earlier when he said that Parakiya is only for Prajanananda and Krishna, no one else. That means not even Gaur Krishna, not overtly that is, in the Leela. So the Gaur Nagarabhav, which Vrindavan Das speaks against, he says, yes, someone may say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and Krishna is Rasaraj, which means he accepts all tastes. But nonetheless, he may be Krishna, he is, but he is to be worshipped in relation to the mood that he is in. And what is the mood that he is in? Is he in the mood of Rasaraj? He's in the mood of primarily of trying to worship Krishna, in the mood of a devotee, the mood of Radha. He has a different mood here. Sometimes he shows himself as Krishna, but predominantly the Leela is of him as a devotee and showing the way of devotion, showing the way to enter the Parakiya, for example. So he speaks very strongly about this. It's a very heavy statement. And this is in relation to Gaur Nagarabhav, to the idea that male associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would have, in some realm, not in Nadia, not in the Prakat Leela, the Aprakat Leela, the idea has developed over time, in some dream Leela, the male associates of Mahaprabhu would have a relationship with him in female forms, like gopis have in relation to Krishna. This is where Nagarabhav. Nadia Nagarabhav, the subset of this is that the girls of Nadia, they actually all had Parakiya with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You don't find this here. In this Leela that parallels the Gopi Vastraharana Leela, stealing of the clothes of the gopis. These girls were instructed, worship me, and I will give you good husbands, and they'll be good devotees, and you can live a nice, devotional, pious life. So he's not, we don't find any hint of this here. Krishna says repeatedly from the beginning, in the middle, and the end of this narrative, made it clear, there's no Nadia Nagarabhav. He's very much a gentleman. Not so much a gentleman in relation to Mayavadis. He's pretty strongly, speaks strongly against them. But other people, well, they like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, how could you can't be, too upset with him, but still we don't. Zen, I have no place in my book. I've been asked to write about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he's understood by Rupa Goswami, and we don't think there's any more definitive position, more clear, more deeper, more esoteric position than that. Everything was revealed to Rupa as much and more so as everything was revealed to Brahma at the dawn of creation. That's why Vishnu Thakur says, and Brahma is Rupa Manjari. So one of the differences in the book he wrote, like Karnapur's book, where almost all the people are the same, is that Brahma is Rupa Manjari. It doesn't mean that Brahma is Rupa Manjari. It means, it's like Krishna says in one of his Sanskrit verses, that in the beginning of the Rupa Siksha, 19th chapter of Madhya Lila, he says, And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed in the heart of Rupa Goswami Vrindavan Leelas, just like Krishna revealed at the dawn of creation all the Vedic truths to Brahma. Parallel, he's making a parallel. And of course, Brahma can go there as well, of course. But, so, so there's no Nadia Nagar Bhagavad Bhav in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a parallel here between the Leelas, but we can see the difference. Some very good advice is given. Don't worship the demigods, and don't think also that the gopis were worshipping demigods to get to Krishna. The demigods can't give Parakya Bhav. Goddess of Bhakti can give this. And if she gives, Krishna cannot refuse, has to accept, has to come accept and honor that. And Lakshmi. So Lakshmi and Vaikuntha, Lakshmi Priya is here. They're eternally, they're already eternally united, and in the Leela they meet, and so it manifests as if it's first happening. And see the nature of their relationship. What is the nature of the relationship? The gopis are worshipping Bhakti, they have Krishna as their husband. They're not directly worshipping Krishna. They're indirectly worshipping Krishna, because his divinity has to kind of be in the background to some extent in order for them to think of him on terms like village love. Mahaprabhu's love with Lakshmi is not quite like that. Gaur Narayan's love with Lakshmi is different than Radha and Krishna's love, like Narayan's love with Lakshmi is different than Radha and Krishna's love. So Lakshmi worships him. He says, worship me. She doesn't, like the other girls, say, well, she just immediately starts to worship. Give him the garland and everything. He accepts her. Lakshmi Priya ki jai. Krishna Priya ki jai. Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Nadia Bhav ki jai. Lord Premanand. Swami Maharaj ki